Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so right this very second, there is a massive strategic shift happening in the Indo-Pacific. We're going to dive into how India is rapidly evolving its maritime strategy, literally shifting from local regional roots to a genuinely global vision. Let's get right into it.
So, how exactly does a nation secure a contested ocean, especially one that is rapidly becoming the main stage for 21st century great power rivalry? Well, it takes a serious mix of hard power, strategic alliances, and a crystal-clear, actionable vision. And as you'll see today, India is actively rewriting its playbook to solve this exact puzzle.
Consider the INS Vikrant. Let's be real, building your own aircraft carrier is not exactly a weekend DIY project, right? It's a monumental technological feat. It serves as the ultimate symbol of India's hard power and its growing authority as a blue water navy. It signals to the rest of the world that a nation isn't just, protecting its coastlines, but actually projecting sustained power across the deep seas.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the anchor, then look at the expanding ripple, move right into the shield, explore the web of alliances, and finally, take the helm for the future.
Okay, part 1, the anchor, from roots to SAGAR.
The number 90% is literally the most critical piece of context you need for this whole topic. 90% of India's trade, by volume, passes through the Indian Ocean. We're talking about the electronics we buy, the fuel we use, all the goods we rely on every single day. So for India, maritime security is definitely not just some abstract geopolitical concept. It is an absolute economic lifeline.
Now, what's really interesting here is the evolution. Back in 2015, the initial SAGAR policy was focused pretty heavily on the immediate Indian Ocean region. But skip ahead a decade to MAHASAGAR, and the scope just explodes outward. We're seeing a massive shift towards the broader global south, integrating things like economic diplomacy, technological connectivity, and even environmental sustainability. It's basically a massive leap from a local neighborhood watch to a comprehensive global strategy.
Moving to Section 2, the expanding ripple, and how India is becoming a net security provider.
The ocean is vast, obviously, and building a real-time picture of it is a complete logistical nightmare. But the number 28 changes the game entirely. That's the number of partner nations currently successfully sharing real-time data at the Information Fusion Center for the Indian Ocean region. By connecting directly with 28 different nations, India has essentially positioned itself right at the very center of all maritime data sharing in the area.
And they're using that exact data to weave an interconnected web of maritime domain awareness. By layering information from radars, satellites, and ship transponders, this network is actively tracking piracy in the Gulf of Aden, monitoring illegal fishing, and even identifying dark ships that are trying to dodge detection. It's like a rapid response information shield, and it gives all the partner nations absolutely crucial, real-time situational awareness.
But, it's not just about data sharing. It's actually about boots on the deck. In 2026, Operation iOS SAGAR achieved something pretty unprecedented. We saw an Indian warship sail with a multilateral crew that included 38 foreign personnel from 16 different countries across ASEAN and the Indian Ocean region. They actually trained together in Kochi, learning to standardize their communication and safety protocols. Honestly, it's a brilliant way to build practical, deeply embedded interoperability.
Which brings us to Section 3, the shield, and the massive 2026 fleet expansion.
19. Just let that number sink in for a second. In the year 2026 alone, the Indian Navy is set to commission a staggering 19 warships. That is their absolute largest annual force accretion to date, easily blowing past previous years. It highlights exactly how seriously New Delhi is taking its role in what is clearly an increasingly contested maritime environment.
And Indian shipyards have made this incredible leap to actually pull this off, slashing warship build times from about 9 years down to just 6. How did they do it? Well, basically by letting artificial intelligence do the heavy lifting for assembly sequencing, optimizing material sourcing, and predicting timelines. It's kind of wild to think about AI literally helping to build warships faster, but it is for sure driving a massive modernization of their entire indigenous shipbuilding ecosystem.
Now, according to the sources, there are a few very clear structural drivers behind this rapid buildup. Primarily, it's cited as a response to China's expanding maritime footprint and assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific. The sources also point to a much sharper threat perception following the Galwan Valley clash.
That specific event really accelerated the perceived need to safeguard freedom of navigation across critical sea lanes and to project enough power to maintain a regional balance.
All right, Section 4, the web and the power of trilateral partnerships. So instead of waiting around for those slow, massive multilateral forums to come to an agreement, India is utilizing agile trilaterals, and their partnerships brilliantly illustrate this strategy. You've got France and the UAE partnering with India specifically for critical minerals and integrating ports into the new India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor. Meanwhile, France and Australia are teaming up with India to protect vital undersea communications and seabed infrastructure. It's a highly pragmatic, deeply focused approach to shared security. Finally, Section 5, the helm, institutionalizing the future. To keep all this momentum going, a 2025 parliamentary committee outlined 3 really crucial steps. First, they need to eliminate the confusion and the overlap between the older SAGAR and the newer MAHASAGAR frameworks. Second, establish a dedicated interministerial task force. This is to break down the bureaucratic silos between the Navy, Earth Sciences, and External Affairs. And third, adopt a Green Mahasagar to proactively address the massive ecological vulnerabilities and climate threats currently facing the Indian Ocean.
A recent piece from South Asian Voices hits the nail right on the head regarding the core challenge here. Grand visions are great, sure, but analysts strongly argue that India urgently needs an official, prescriptive white paper, because right now, SAGAR still relies way too much on political speeches. By translating those speeches into a carefully drafted, enduring institutional framework, India can ensure these initiatives actually survive future leadership changes. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. As great power competition continues to intensify, can India actually sustain this incredible momentum, fix its internal institutional silos, and permanently shape the global maritime order? The sheer scale of this geopolitical pivot is truly massive. Watching how India navigates these waters in the coming years is going to be absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you next time.